Hello and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video, and today I'm taking a look at the last issue of the Four Doctors comic book that was done last time I checked in 2015 as a Doctor Who comic book Doctor Who comic book day weekly event, which obviously spanned 5 weeks, as there are 5 issues. So yeah, here it says 5 of 5 with this really cool sort of 3D drawing of a TARDIS. You've got 10 there, even though he doesn't kind of look like the 10th Doctor in this drawing. I don't know why, but to me he just doesn't. Then you've got 12, then you've got 10, 11 and 12 in that order, I guess, seeing as that's numerical order. Paul Cornell, who wrote this series, the other people too, and that, all of the images of the Doctor and their respected companion. Little bios on all of the Doctors and their companions and stuff. You've got the Titan Comics website, Twitter and Facebook for contact information basically. You've got a synopsis on the previous issue if this is the first one you've picked up, as usually I find that I usually sometimes end up picking either the beginning of a series or the end of a series, usually when it comes to like Marvel or DC comic books. But yeah, the rest of the information about the writer, artist, colorist, letterist, so on and stuff along that line. You've got this really good one whole sort of panel of the character kind of pointing at us, the audience member and stuff. I'll be honest, the art keeps sort of that really sort of nice sort of look to the comic book. You know, it's definitely got a very nice, distinct feel to it, and yeah, I only just sort of realised this, but this character is a version of the 12th Doctor and stuff, and I'll be honest, this whole series is very timey-wimey, and I think it's one of Paul Cornell's much more complex stories to sort of get your head around, I think. And I think if you're not a massive Doctor Who fan, that will definitely be something that will not be very appealing to you, unfortunately, as it is very paradoxical / timey-wimey, for lack of a better word. You've got an advertisement for Unit Extinction on the back. You've got an advertisement for the graphic novels of the 12th, 11th, and 10th, or 10, 11 and 12th Doctor ones. You've got advertisements for the other Doctor Who single issues around the time of this comic book's release. For example, I have reviewed issue 1 of the 8th Doctor miniseries, and I have issue 1 to 4, and I've got reviews of all 4 issues on my channel, and I have yet to pick up issue 5, but I will be picking that up. There's more advertisements here, and saying that you can get them on digital release. A little comic strip, which is separate to the actual comic book story. It's just a little like light-hearted, funny thing and stuff. As I say, the story was pretty decent, and that I think it was alright. I think, as I say, I just think that out of all of the other stuff Paul Cornell's done for Doctor Who, that including, episodes that he's wrote in the new series and stuff, or just generally even, stuff like Scream of the Shalka, or some of the Virgin New Adventure books and stuff like that, it's just a lot more sort of paradoxical and a bit more out there, and very much, as I say, very timey-wimey and that. And I think that already makes it very much only for a certain type of audience member, or sort of demographic even, which, to be honest, is quite surprising from him, as he seems to be a sort of writer, for the most part, who seems to be very open to trying to keep that balance between having a story sort of feel aimed at the very hardcore Doctor Who fan, but also feel very accessible to someone who's never watched Doctor Who or read Doctor Who or anything, in the comic books, for instance, in this case. But yeah, so that might be a bit of a problem, and yeah, but I think it slowly, as a series, I think it slowly gets more complex, the story. I think around sort of issue 3 is probably where it starts to get more complex and stuff. And I've probably said this a bazillion times, but at some point later down the line, if I ever get a chance to read all 5, in sequential order, I would do a retrospective video / a look back on the whole series, and say what my favourite issue was and why, and which was the weakest issue and why, and stuff like that. As I think every series, whether it's a TV series, if it's a video game series, TV series, film sort of series, comic book series in this case, I think they all have their ups and downs, and it, they always fluctuate, between going, sort of very good to sort of middle-ish to then worse, or sometimes they don't even do that order. Sometimes they can start sort of middle-ish, get better, and then go way worse than what you first started out with, oddly enough. But it varies from person to person, so it'll be quite interesting to hopefully at some point do a retrospective on all 5 of the 4 Doctor issues, but then again I might not. There is also a little cameo of the 9th Doctor, spoiler alert, in the end and stuff, which is nice, as I am a big fan of the 9th Doctor, as he is the first Doctor, or my first Doctor, should I say, before everyone kills me in the comment section and that, because I accidentally said he was the first Doctor. Yeah, he was my first Doctor, so that was nice that they had that little cameo at the end with the 9th Doctor there, which, to be honest, I didn't expect. So, but yeah, I think purely on its own, this one has been a nice read, but I think probably stacking it up against all the others is pretty weak. I'm assuming it might be pretty weak because I liked it as a standalone read, and that. But yeah, it seems to be quite weird because I distinctly remember from issue 4, one of the characters getting killed, and then in this one, issue 5. There seems to be really no impact on any of the characters, or impact of that character being killed and whatnot, and so that was rather head-scratchingly weird and whatnot. So yeah, but aside from that, hopefully I would recommend this and this series. For anyone who's a very big fan of Doctor Who and sort of timey-wimey paradoxical stories. So yeah, thanks for watching, comment, rate and subscribe.